The enterprise security perimeter is no longer defined by your external firewall. It is defined by the hardware your employees hold in their hands. Welcome to ZeroDay Digest. I am Dr. Elias Sterling. In the first quarter of 2026, the global threat landscape experienced a massive saturation of sophisticated credential theft operations. The Microsoft Defender Security Research Team tracked approximately 8.3 billion email-based phishing threats in just 3 months. Early in the quarter, Microsoft successfully disrupted the infrastructure of the Tycoon 2FA platform, a major phishing-as-a-service operator dedicated to bypassing multi-factor authentication. While that takedown caused an immediate 15% drop in overall threat volume, the cybercriminal ecosystem demonstrated rapid resilience. They evolved. The most critical adaptation we are tracking today is the aggressive, industrialized escalation of QR code phishing, commonly known as quishing. Today, we are decoding exactly how threat actors are exploiting unmanaged mobile devices to completely bypass your data loss prevention systems. We will analyze the advanced tactics, techniques, and procedures blinding your security scanners, and most importantly, we will outline the actionable defense architecture you need to lock down your identity infrastructure. To understand why QR codes have rapidly become the preferred delivery mechanism for elite threat actors, we must examine the fundamental architecture of enterprise data loss prevention. Your DLP tools, secure email gateways, and endpoint detection agents excel at analyzing text, scanning hyperlinks, and detonating executables within an isolated cloud sandbox. They are designed to prevent malicious payloads from executing on corporate hardware, and they monitor managed devices to ensure sensitive data is not uploaded to unauthorized applications. Attackers understand this architecture perfectly. They know that if they can move the attack off your highly monitored corporate workstation and onto an employee's personal, unmanaged mobile device, your visibility instantly drops to absolute zero. This is the primary strategic objective of quishing. An employee receives a highly targeted email containing a QR code on their managed desktop. The lure urges them to scan the matrix to authorize a password reset, view a payroll update, or decrypt a secure document. The exact moment that employee uses their personal smartphone camera to scan the code, the attack execution jumps the Airgap. The subsequent credential harvesting portal loads on a device that entirely lacks your corporate web filtering, endpoint compliance checks, and session monitoring. You simply cannot defend a perimeter you cannot see. Current telemetry indicates that 68% of all quishing attacks successfully transition the victim to a mobile device. As enterprise defenders began deploying optical character recognition and perceptual hashing to detect basic QR codes within email bodies, threat actors evolved their delivery mechanisms. We are now tracking highly sophisticated tactics, techniques, and procedures engineered specifically to blind your automated security scanners. The first evolution is the HTML Split QR code, heavily utilized by the Gabagool Phishing-as-a-Service kit. Traditional image scanners calculate entropy and look for the specific square anchor points of a QR matrix. To bypass this, attackers use HTML structure to deconstruct a single, malicious QR code into 2 separate, fragmented image files. When the security gateway scans the payload, it evaluates the images in isolation. It sees 2 distinct, meaningless image fragments and allows the email through. However, when rendered by the target's email client, the HTML perfectly aligns the fragments. The human user sees a single, fully scannable code. The second evolution is the nested QR code, pioneered by the Tycoon 2FA platform. This relies entirely on scanner ambiguity. Attackers embed a malicious QR code directly around or within a completely legitimate one. Because many OCR engines operate with early exit logic to save processing power, they scan the image, find the benign inner URL pointing to a safe site like Google, classify the entire image as safe, and stop processing. The malicious outer code goes completely undetected by the appliance, yet remains fully functional for the victim's smartphone camera. Moving beyond image manipulation entirely, we are observing a massive rise in ASCII and Unicode matrix generation. In these specific attacks, there is no image file attached to the email whatsoever. Instead, the threat actor constructs a visual QR code using precise combinations of Unicode block characters directly in the text body. By utilizing cascading style sheets to make specific blocks transparent, they generate the required negative white space to make the matrix mathematically scannable. Because there is no image metadata, traditional OCR engines completely fail to trigger. This method yields over 96 possible basic character combinations, completely neutralizing signature-based detection. Alongside image evasion, attackers are heavily abusing the OAuth 2.0 device authorization flow by directing victims to dynamically generated device code portals using shadowed domains like Portal Azure. Automated background scripts interact with Microsoft infrastructure to generate live tokens in real time. This dynamic generation completely neutralizes the standard 15-minute expiration window inherent to OAuth protocols. These TTPs are not theoretical edge cases. They are heavily industrialized. On March 17, 2026, Threat Intelligence observed a massive coordinated campaign distributing over 1.5 million malicious messages to organizations across 43 countries. We are tracking a massive statistical shift in delivery formats. Cybercriminals are moving away from embedding codes directly in the email body, with PDF document delivery now accounting for 70% of all QR attacks. By hiding the image inside a clean, one-page PDF lacking any executable code, they easily bypass text-based gateway filters. When targeting users, brand impersonation remains highly targeted. Microsoft, including SharePoint and OneDrive, was impersonated in 51% of attacks. DocuSign followed at 31%. To protect their infrastructure from security researchers analyzing these portals, kits like the updated Tycoon 2FA deploy aggressive anti-analysis techniques. They actively listen for web inspection keystrokes, disable right-click menus, and instantly overwrite the user's clipboard to prevent offline analysis. If an automated penetration tool is detected, the script aggressively redirects the connection to a legitimate external site, such as Microsoft OneDrive, to hide its tracks. We understand the threat vectors and the evasion mechanics. Now we secure the perimeter. This is your Actionable Defense Blueprint. Relying on user awareness training alone is fundamentally insufficient against pixel-perfect phishing-as-a-service platforms. First, you must modernize your email gateway. Ensure you have platforms like Microsoft Defender for Office 365 properly configured to perform advanced perceptual hashing and image extraction. The system must strip URL metadata from inline images and dynamically detonate the underlying links in an isolated sandbox before delivery. Second, and most critically, you must enforce strict conditional access policies. Because Phishing explicitly attempts to push users to unmanaged devices, your identity provider must challenge the device context, not just the password. If an attacker successfully harvests credentials and attempts to log in, conditional access must categorically block the authentication because the request is not originating from an Intune enrolled, compliant corporate endpoint. Third, implement mobile device management and mobile application management. If your operational environment requires personal device usage, confine corporate data strictly to manage encrypted applications. Finally, implement cryptographic token binding within Entra ID. This ensures that even if Tycoon 2FA successfully steals a session cookie, it cannot be replayed on an unauthorized machine. The physical air gap between your monitored network and a user's personal device is the most vulnerable vector in modern enterprise security architectures. Threat actors are banking on the fact that your data loss prevention tools completely lack visibility into personal hardware operating on cellular networks. By bridging that gap with robust conditional access policies and advanced image detonation, you neutralize the fundamental architectural advantage of the QR code. Implement the zero trust controls, bind your session tokens, and secure your identities across every endpoint. I'm Dr. Elias Sterling. Decoding threats today. Stay secure.